Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome back on Inter Worldwide. There ain't nothing left to do but to do it. So let me know how I'm sounding. I'm still getting used to what the best way is to talk into the position of this microphone. So just let me know if you are listening. How's the sound going? As we move into match day 22, it's moving quickly. It's moving very quickly now. It's moving too quickly. It's moving too quickly. The games are going way too quickly. So we need to just jump into it straight away because I don't have all the time in the world. The rapid changing weather in Sydney is also impacting my voice a little bit. Thank you very much, Mattia. What's going on, Kreshnik and Lucas as well? It's good to see you. We've got 7 or 8 people with us right now. I know we'll get a few more, but make sure you like the video, subscribe if you are new, and leave a comment as well as we run through match day 22. Big up the members. Big up Massimo in the house as well. Glad to have you with us. Now, I haven't watched many highlights at all this match day. I have been incredibly busy to the point where I've barely seen goals. So I'm going to tune into a couple of things as long as you guys don't mind. And I'll still speak into the microphone as much as possible. So we start at the top of my list today. I'm not too sure whether or not it'll be the start of everybody's list, but we start with, get that second monitor in a little bit closer. We start with Fiorentina, and that's a good 3 points for them because they were lagging. They were lagging some form. They were lagging some competition points, and they really needed to make sure that they got those. Now, this was a game that I actually was able to tune into majority of it on a replay version. So I won't speak too long about it, but they came out of the gates very, very quickly. And as long as you do come out of the gates quickly, you're sure as hell to get a few chances. I particularly liked the assist from Gosens as someone who is very happy at the fact that we had Robin Gosens at Inter for a period of time. He's a player that's good enough to still be at Inter now, form-wise, ability-wise, in general. So I'm a big fan of him. So to see him still doing well at Fiorentina alongside players like De Gea, who I like as well. Beltran got a goal, got the second goal for Fiorentina. I'm a big fan of him, always have been as well. It's good to see these players that I like doing well, and that's just me subjectively. But maybe you're the same as me. Maybe there are certain teams who you don't like all the time, but at the start of the season you see their squad list and you're like, there's a lot of players who I like in this team. There's a lot of players who I rate. There's a lot of players who I've always sort of backed for. And Fiorentina is one of those teams for me this year. I thought it was really funny. A player that I actually do think is quite good is Comuzzo. And Comuzzo comes on the pitch at a time where Fiorentina get a red card. And I think it was Adli who got the red card. It didn't impact Fiorentina whatsoever because Adli was a substitute at the time. He got a yellow for being a pain in the ass as he went off the pitch. Got a second yellow as he kicked the ball as he goes off, but he's already been subbed off at that point. So it doesn't actually impact the ratio on the pitch. It stays 11 versus 11 at that point in time. Late goal for Lazio after, I forget who actually scored it. I know that De Gea came very close to saving this particular goal, but he couldn't keep it out in the end. And because of that, Lazio make it 2-1. They had a chance just before the end, but it wasn't to be. And, I don't really care too much for Lazio, so the fact that they drop points, it makes no difference to me. But Fiorentina, on the other hand, to get 3 points in that situation away in Rome is huge. Absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. You can't deny it. So big effort from them. In terms of how it's going to impact them both on the ladder, I expect them both to stick pretty much side by side until the end of the season. I'm hoping that a certain other team from Turin keeps dropping points, and these two are actually in a fight for that particular spot, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that too much just yet. In terms of the players that we spoke about in this match, and I am focusing a little bit more on this one, I guess, in the end, because I guess I just watched more of it and I've got more to say about it. Once again, I think Beltran was really, really good. And I liked Gosens as well. Like Mattia is saying, it's sad that he didn't get back into his Atalanta form with Inter, but at the end of the day, Gosens is a player that I just want to see do very well wherever he goes. Hello to Rosemary. It's an absolute pleasure to see you again as well. We've got 12 people with us on Inter Worldwide right now, so make sure you like the video and subscribe if you are new once again. Now, remember, at the start of the season, now this is one thing that I can actually hold on to. Relegation derby coming in hard with Venezia versus Verona. This is a game I really wish I had the time to tune into live, but I didn't, and I've only managed to see 30 minutes back, so I'm watching the goals again as we speak. Swartzena, good save. Good save from Stankovic. Gotta love seeing Stankovic do well, right? He's definitely coming back. He's coming back. He's coming back to Inter, guys. Paolo. Zerbi. Zerbin, man on screen. There you go. 1-0 Venezia. God, I wish Verona lost this game. I wish Verona lost this game, man. That would have really cemented the idea for me that they're going down. Stankovic clearly maintained. Yeah, he had so many man-of-match. I'm just saying, maintain another clean sheet for an hour. Longer than an hour. Serda, good 1-2 play from Serda. Good save from Stankovic. Good save from Stankovic. I love talking about these lower level games. They're so interesting towards this point. He's gone 76 minutes for the clean sheet. Oh, Chachua, that's unfortunate. Very scrappy goal. Very scrappy goal from the next gentleman that you see on screen. But the point is the point. Look at him celebrating like he's just saved Verona from relegation. I don't like Verona. By the way, I was about to say that like they're another version, not as bad as I once referred to Cagliari as, but what about our boy Raja? What about our boy Raja? For those of you loyalists who are watching this, who have been on this channel for a long time, you'll remember me saying things such as, this is the sort of guy that gets caught up in a gambling or a drug scandal eventually. We called this one. Do I look surprised to you? This was always going to happen. This whole Raja thing was always going to happen. No one is less surprised than me. Inter 4, Lecce nil. Sorry, Lecce nil, Inter 4. Good goal for Fratesi. I won't stay too long on this one because I did my match reaction. Very good job from Marcus Thuram. Very good footwork. Not easy to do, even against Lecce. Not only beating that player and staying on form, but being able to provide that assist as well. Denzel Dumfries with another fantastic performance and another good goal. Lautaro Martinez, absolutely electric. When he's on, he is world class on. No Inter fans are upset. No Inter fans are pissed off. Everybody is happy to be wrong about this, especially guys like me. I'm happy to be wrong about this. Nobody cares about being right here. You think my ego is that big that I care about being right? No, I don't care about being right. Being wrong is glorious about this club. Being wrong about Lautaro Martinez is glorious. He is back to his best. That cut in, that left foot, that goal in the top corner. Do you know how few attackers in the world can pull that off? Do you know how few attackers in the world can pull that off? My brother, thanks for coming in. There was no threat in the second half from Lecce besides an early chance for Kristovic around about 10 minutes into the second half. And only a couple of minutes after that, Lautaro Martinez with that beautiful back heel for Denzel Dumfries. And Denzel Dumfries curls it into the top-ish corner on the opposite side with his left foot. And, something about Denzel Dumfries needs to be said. His mentality is world class. It really is. He's got an elitist mentality when it comes to football and athleticism. Falcone absolutely smashes Fratesi, and it becomes 4. Inter cruising, and a great reply with Taremi getting the goal. A great reply to Napoli, because at the end of the day, Napoli are extremely impressive. Extremely impressive. They're making sure that Inter have no reason to be happy any week that they win, and vice versa. Inter are making sure that Napoli fans don't have a week of going, oh, come on. Can't you just give us a break? Can't you just at least for a second pretend that we can move ahead? It's going to be tit for tat. What a showdown it's going to be. What a showdown it's going to be between Inter and Napoli, between Simone Inzaghi and Antonio Conte at the end of the season. And what a performance it was from Napoli, especially in the second half against Juventus. What a piss-poor performance from Juventus in the second half. Great performance by Juventus in the first half. Fantastic goal as well to be scored by Kolo Muani on his debut. Looks like a fantastic addition to their side, even though it's very early against a stagnant, dry, aging piece of bread like Vlahovic. What a piece of shit, to be honest. Sorry to anyone who's a fan of him. Sorry, Mattia, if you like him because he's Serbian, but I can't stand seeing players that are paid certain amounts that at least don't try. At least with Lautaro Martinez, when he's shit, you still see he's trying. You still see he's trying his hardest. He just lacks sometimes that extra ability, that extra minute, that extra second, that extra millimeter. But with Vlahovic, he genuinely stops trying and stops caring about that team who we all hate, but we know the magnitude of. There's no room or space to stop caring about that team if you play for that team, and he has. So more hoo-hoo-ha-ha for us, more crying for them. Kolo Muani makes it 1-0, but at the end of the day, that's where it stops and starts for Juve. God forbid they should do Inter a favor once in their life. It's not going to happen. Napoli, on the other hand, I've said it more than once, Sombongi Sarr just might be up there as one of the most underrated midfielders on the planet. I mean it, because the word underrated is not a broad term. It's not a broad term. I believe that you can only really genuinely pinpoint certain midfielders and certain players and say that they're underrated, because most players are average. Most players are overrated, in my opinion. Overrated big time when it comes to financial fees, when it comes to wages, when it comes to everything, when it comes to ratings, when it comes to being discussed, drastically overrated. Zombongi Sarr has been one of the most underrated midfielders I have ever seen step into Serie A. He gets no flowers whatsoever. I don't believe what people have told me. People are telling me his contract runs out soon. Bull crap. Napoli intends to extend, blah, blah, blah. What's his actual contract say, please? Just give me the facts. Zombongi Sarr. Contract expires June 30, 2025. June 30, 2025. I feel you, Mattia. Do I look like I rape? Yeah, 100%. 100%. Guys, this is an incredible opportunity for teams in the world. If I was Beppe Marotta, this is a point in time where I would go straight to Oak Tree and say, yo, I can do something very, very, very good for you here. Very good. Something that you cannot believe. Andre Frank Zombongisa. I don't know if you guys can see what I can see here. There you go. You should be able to see that. This should be the number one midfield target for every team in Serie and a fair few teams around the world. I can think of a fair few English teams that could use a guy like him. I can think of a Spanish side or two that could use a guy like him. I can think of a couple of German sides that could use a guy like him. I cannot believe that this contract actually stands to run out in 5 months' time. I don't think anybody else is talking about this. This is like a stock that's about to pop. This is like the housing market about to collapse where people were shorting it. This is a joke that this player has been allowed to run down his contract this long. I cannot believe people are not sniffing around for this. I cannot believe it is just straight up disrespectful. It's just straight up disrespectful. Anyway, Lukaku makes it 2-1 in the second half after a penalty won by Scott McChickenburger, Scott McNuggets, Scott McSauce. Good on him as well. I mean, he's a player that always used to sort of make me a few bucks when I used to bet on him in the Premier League. So well done to McTominay for keeping up his flowers as well. Good on him. For Juve, on the other hand, where do we start? Am I allowed to talk about it, or does it come across as too consciously biased? Giuntoli, the savior. Thiago Motta, his prophet/disciple in power. All I can do is reflect what most of their fans are saying at the moment. And most of their fans are just, they're fed up with the fact that they're not seeing any growth throughout the season. They're fed up with the fact that Thiago Motta is proving time and time again that he doesn't care about 3 points. He doesn't care about winning as much as he cares about this, that, and the other. He doesn't have the balls to bench certain players. That's what the majority are saying. But all I can say is what I see. And what I see is a Juve team who's too scared to continuously play at a level throughout 90 minutes that they should be going for the win. Whether they're ahead or not, you don't see fight when they're ahead. You don't see fight when they're behind. And that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest problem. When it was 1-1 to Napoli, and then when it was 2-1, did you once see them control possession and make passages of play where they suggested that they would be the dominant side in the match, that they would be the side to take the initiative to win? No chance. Conte, on the other hand, turns it around and proves once again that this competition is his baby. It's his baby, especially when he has one game a week. As an Inter fan, I'm very fond of the memory when we won the Scudetto. You know what came at the cost of that? Going out in the group stage of the Champions League. I believe that might have been the season where we came fourth. We came last. Inter came last in a Champions League group. And then we went on and won the Scudetto. Antonio Conte, one game per 7 days. That's all there is to it. And that's all the time we have to speak about it right now. I could speak about this for ages, but we won't. But oi, how funny was this? How actual funny was this? Mate, Milan winning late is something that I expect at the end of the day. I never get excited when Milan or Juve, for that matter, are tied late in the game or are losing late in the game. And if anything, if I've got time, I'll call Bet365 or Sportsbet and chuck $5 or $10 on them to grab the winner, because I know that even though they'll grab the winning goals and I'll be shitty at it, I'll win something to take care of my weekend or my days after my weekend. But what happened after this game was quite funny. Quite funny. First of all, I just want to say, comical effort from Suzuki to give away that first penalty in the game for Pulisic to equalize on. Very poor goalkeeping, and Suzuki is a goalkeeper I've been a fan of this season. So I just want to make sure that I say and then be a bit critical, because I'll never pass up an opportunity to be petty and critical, even of players that I like. Suzuki, that was poor. That was poor. Absolutely poor. Rangers had a good game on the other hand, because I did end up watching the full replay back in this one, because I only caught the last 15 minutes of this game. Go figure, I only caught the last 15 minutes of this game. It was a fantastic game to watch. Even as a neutral, you can be very, very happy. When Parma grabbed that winner, what was perceived to be the winner of the player stacking it, basically falling over into the goal in the 80th minute, the captain, Big goal at the time. And you could see how disappointed he was at full time when it all went bad in the end. But Rangers, in the end, very calm and collected. He has the whole left-hand far side of his goal to aim at there, but he chooses to back himself and very calmly literally slice it along the ground at pace in there. And then it was who scores the winner? Chukwueze, right? Chukwueze scores the winner. He puts it away. What a 3 points in the end. But this match for me will be remembered by this. And I'm going to tell you my take on it, because for me, this was the biggest talking point of the match going out. Conceição knows that he's got a group of players that only about half of them are behind him, I reckon. But this is a great opportunity for him to make sure that to even the fans, that he can develop a sort of siege mentality, a sort of us against the world. And if he goes for someone like Calabria, who, let's face it, his best football at the club is behind him. There's been talks of him going somewhere else, not renewing a contract, not being on the side of the manager. This was very much a great opportunity for someone like Sergio Conceição to assert his alphaism, to assert his dominance. Whether or not I agree with it actually happening on the pitch is a different conversation. I'm not really here to give that much of my subjective opinion. I don't think people care for it that much. But at the end of the day, seeing players like Fofana and Theo Hernandez come up and speak to him afterwards, I think Conceição is doing the right thing. I don't think he needs to. I think it's the wrong way to deliver a message, but it's the right message. The message is that I'm here to win more games than I'm not. I'm here to make sure that people are on my side. And if you're not, you can get left. You can get with it or get left behind. Simple as that. Tactically, I don't think he's fantastic. I mean, he's not bad, but in terms of mentality-wise, like Milan have upgraded. They've upgraded from Fonseca. Fonseca could never get like bums like this to get behind him. Absolutely not. And I think that Inter can give these guys a reality check in a week's time, because mentality is not going to be enough when we come to whoop your asses in a week. I don't know why, but I've got courage among this fixture because I want blood. When I actually want blood and want to beat somebody, I get that little bit of arrogance about me. Whereas usually with Inter, I would go back into my shell a little bit. Moving on to the next game, Roma actually got 3 points. Well done to them. I managed to watch about 15-minute highlights, not many, so I'm actually going to watch the goals back if you guys don't mind. Dovbyk, Dybala, no, it's Wrench. Good shot, saved. Corner. Oh, well done by Baldanzi. Shit keeping. How's he missed that? Dika has missed from very close. Should have scored there. Should have been Roma 1-0. Instead, Lorenzo Luca scores. This guy's putting together some goals for Udinese. 8th goal of the season. 8th goal for Lorenzo Luca. These are the sort of players that get overpriced in value when they're just another Pinamonti, to be honest. Penalty. Handball. Pellegrini will put this away. 1-1. Easy. Anthony, I think we can beat Milan this Sunday. I don't feel the negative energy. Me too. I'm starting to lose it a bit. Mattia's trying to bring it back to me, but I swear to God, there's something in me for the next game that hasn't been in me all season. There's something in me this game coming up with Milan that hasn't been in me for the last 2 games, and I'm hoping that it's that gut feeling. I hope it's that impulse feeling that says something different's coming. Because if we don't beat Milan in this game, I will be livid, brother. I will be furious. I will be fucking pissed off. El Shaarawy does very well to play the ball forward, and that's an easy penalty that you've just given away. 2 penalties. It's 2 penalties. It's 2 penalties. It's 2 penalties. Dovbyk. 2-1. 3 points for Roma. 3 points for Roma. I'll piss off Mattia. I know you're just trying to anti-jinx it, but keep anti-jinxing it because we need you to anti-jinx it. If I'm not doing my part of the anti-jinx, you need to anti-jinx twice as hard. And that's what he's doing. Holding up the flag and waving it for absolutely everybody. Good results here as well for definitely not Monza, that's for sure. Brr, far out. How much more can they fail this season? Galliani is absolutely spewing with the output of his men. I haven't seen the goals. Let's watch. Maldini, Caprari, Kirikopoulos. Not far off. Not far off. Man, the quality of highlights has dipped on Serie. Miretti, well done. Pereira. Miretti to Pinamonti. I just fucking trashed his name a few seconds ago. Good header. That's a penalty for sure. Kirakopoulos. Oh, rugby tackle. Pinamonti from the spot. Oh, saved. Oh, Pinamonti. Pinamonti missed the penalty, boys. Pinamonti has missed a penalty. Pinamonti. You're never coming back. Ever. Ever. Pinamonti. Good cross. Miretti. Oh, my days. Genoa, how are they not leading yet? Monza are shit at containing midfield. Torsby. They've got some decent ballers in this team, Genoa. Like, they're not the worst team. What a save. Man, this game should not have stayed 0-0 this long. De Vinta. There it is. There it is. Finally with the breakthrough. Mazzini. Vasquez. There you go. 2-0. Vasquez with the last goal. Good player, Vasquez. Will earn himself a transfer out of Serie A or to a bigger side at some point. 3 points for Genoa. We all know they're going to escape the relegation gap. I have no doubt about that whatsoever, to be honest. But at the end of the day, they've still got a job to do, a slight job to do. Well done to them for getting 3 points. Much needed. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have the table in front of me right now, but they were not. It's not like they were close to relegation before, but they need to start creating a bit of a gap to make sure they can clock off early this season. And a result like this does exactly that. Next game, please. Oh, yeah, I did want to see the highlights for this, actually. Why not? Is that a better picture to put up right now? Oh, we'll get to the Torino game in a second, actually. Did I have the Torino highlights up? I did not. All right, Empoli 1, Bologna 1. Sorry, I didn't get a very good image for this one. And I didn't see the goals either. Oh, Colombo! All right. Not bad. Not a bad point for Empoli. Ooh. I mean, obviously, Bologna is having a much better run at the campaign as their first start of the season suggested. What a finish. Who's that? Dominguez. What a finish. Straight through the keeper's legs. That is absolutely rapid. That is rapid. What a finish from Dominguez. Oi, what a finish. Yeah, good point for Empoli. I mean, Bologna took a point off us, so it is what it is, right? We're the ones that were embarrassed there. Shea Adams is actually doing well. Shea Adams is actually doing well, isn't he? I'm going to go to up front 9 because I've never seen him before. So thanks for commenting. What do I think about Vincenzo Italiano? Well, I mean, he's got his team back in a respectable position, hasn't he? He's got his team back in a very respectable position. Before I go and check the ladder, I think he's got them back into like 9th position, 8th position. The team lost key players. They made some good signings. Look, there's one statistic that I heard that made me laugh, bro, and I'm sure that it'll make you chuckle as well. If he wins his game in hand, he'll be on the same amount of points as Thiago Motta at Juve. So that's enough to make you say he's doing okay now. He's doing well now. Shea Adams is doing well because he's taking field time off my boy Sanabria. I just say my boy Sanabria is never going to get into this Torino side. He needs to go somewhere else properly. But at the end of the day, he still probably doesn't take his chances as often as he should be. Yeah, it is absolutely crazy, isn't it, bro? Thanks for asking the question. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here and keep sticking around. Yeah, who do you support, by the way? Let's have a look at these Torino highlights again. I remember watching part of the game because I was just waking up from. Never mind. Shea Adams hits the crossbar and it goes in. Very, very nice. Very nice fish. What a ball through. Caramo should have scored here. Caramo was crap in this game again. Sometimes I can't believe he's starting for Torino because he's still got it all in his tank. He still is a good player, but he just never produces the product that he's capable of. He never produces the end product properly. Not young Caramo. And his biggest chance. Oh, his biggest chance comes in the hour mark when he smacks it against the crossbar on his left foot as well. Shea Adams, goal, 3 points for Torino. They're like undefeated in 5 or 6 games now as well. I can't remember the last time they lost a game in Serie A, to be honest. Unfortunately, an Arsenal fan who watches more Serie A and La Liga than the Prem. Fair enough, bro. Well, thanks for coming by. How did you find the channel, if you don't mind me asking? And yeah, definitely subscribe and subscribe to my other channel, Devils Down Under, as well, if you want to see me sook about Manchester United. Como, last game, Como Atalanta. Good result for Atalanta. Now Retegui, this guy's getting scary. He's like, his price tag is comical. In fact, let me just have a look at the ascension of his price tag in the last few years. By the way, did we see the goal for Nico Paz from Como? Oh, mate. Inter's going to have to do something to tie down this guy for a transfer, that's for sure. Yeah, so market value, yeah, in 2018 is worth 150K. You know what? I'll just share this tab instead. You guys see that? So worth 150K for Boca Juniors in 2018. Worth 150K again in 2019. Worth 900K, not even a million yet for Talleres. Finally cracks the million mark at 1.5 million in 2022. That's not even 3 years ago at this point now. 1.5 million at Tigre. Grows himself into form. They're confident enough to value him at about 16 mil, which is even slightly audacious. It's not even that audacious because at the end of the day, they've kept him around for about 2 years at this point. Genoa dropped the 16 mil, probably the smartest 16 mil they dropped because they almost doubled it when they give it to Atalanta for 28. Now he's worth 35. It's a huge ascension from 1.5 to 35. 1.5 to 35 in 2.5 years. 2.5 years. And it is Gasperini tax. It definitely is Gasperini tax. Don't let it fool you for a second. See, the thing about this guy is that he's got the killer instinct. He's got the finishing touch. He's got the Mauro Icardi. He's got what he needs here. But he's definitely not the player that he looks like under Gasperini. I maintain that belief. I really don't think he's got that fox in the box instinct for sure. For sure. For me, he would be a very good replacement for Vlahovic at Juve. We know Vlahovic is tanked and he's going to leave. This is the player that Juve need, in my opinion. But they're going to overpay for him. They'll drop 45 to 50 million on this guy. And when they do, he will fail. He will fail. He will fail. You can't put that kind of pressure on a guy. It'll be one move too many. One shift too big. One gear too high. Yeah. Gasperini can do that. Gasperini can do that. And we're seeing that. Look at Rasmus Højlund at Manchester United. It is absolute peak banter for that guy who spends more time on the grass than his ass. Absolutely crazy, man. 3 points for Atalanta. But at the end of the day, a good game for Como as well. Did anybody manage to see Cesc Fabregas rallying his troops at the end of it there? Making sure that they knew that they had a good performance, that they were in dominant control and that they were good enough throughout the course of the match, because they were. Even in the second half, they had a couple of chances where they should have gone ahead by even more. But they didn't. They didn't, did they, Vince? No. The charge is in the way. Don't come here, please. Stay. Good boy. Stay. Good boy. Retegui, yeah. Destined to not stay at Atalanta forever. But at the same time, he's going to have to start most games soon. I know that he does start his fair few, but he needs to start all of them soon because he's on that level. He's on that level. His finishing at the moment is just that next level. So at the end of the day, that's match day 22 for everybody. That's match day 22. I'm going to get the table up on the screen now. Just go with Google. Yeah, why not? So as we approach the start of the 20s, it's looking tight. We'll start at the top. Napoli, 53. Inter, 50 with a game in hand. Atalanta, 46, back at full games. Lazio, 39. Juve, 37. Now, let's just assume that Italy are getting 5 spots. For fuck's sake. That's going to be one of Juve and Milan, or both. Both will get in at 4th and 5th. That's what it's going to be for us. That's what it's going to be for us. We'll probably end up maybe not succeeding. Our objective... No, I'm not going to veer into the negativity. I'm not going to do it. Mattia, shut your face. I'm not going to do it. Lazio, Juve, and Fiorentina are neck and neck with Fiorentina with a game in hand. The game in hand is against guess who? Guess who? As we move down the ladder, Milan with a game in hand as well. They've got 34 points. So do Bologna with a game in hand as well. They've got 34 points. Roma, back at full matches, 30. Ranieri finally starting to stabilize them a little bit more. Torino on 26. Udinese on 26. This is still at full matches played. Likewise with Genoa on 26. Then we start to see our first little bit of golf from mid-table to... Let's call it relegation battle. Let's start to call it that. Let's start to say that if there's a gap more than a game in the meaty mid-table chunk, a chunk that you never expect the likes of Bologna, this season Roma, Torino, Udinese, or Genoa to slip into, I'm now prepared to start looking at this as a bit of a gap and a gulf. So we'll start it with Como in 13. Everybody's played 22 games at this point. 22 competition points. Empoli 14th, 21 competition points. Cagliari 15th, 21 points. Parma 16 on 20. Same with Verona, Lecce as well on 20. And Venezia and Monza 16 and 13 each. Venezia and Verona, they're getting dropped. Monza at this point, it's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. However, this season, as opposed to previous seasons, you don't really have a whipping boy. I know it was Salernitana once, possibly twice. I know it was Crotone once, possibly twice. I forget off the top of my head who else it's been in past seasons, but there's always been a whipping boy that's been so far behind the pace, even early and mid of the season, that you know that they're a write-off straight away. There ain't no real whipping boy this season. Monza have acquired 13 points in 22 games, and while that is dog shit, while that is a disaster, they've still drawn 7 games, and they've still got 13 points. They're 1 win away from getting off the bottom of the ladder on match day 22, which is still a superior cry from the other sides who have been cellar dwellers the last few years and for as long as I can remember, bar 1 or 2 seasons in between. That being said, again, I still think the biggest disappointment so far, well, it's starting to become Parma, to be honest. They're losing a lot of points from winning positions, and I think that I do hope that they survive as well, like Mattia is saying, but it's looking like a far cry now as well. Let's move into the actual fixtures of the next match day, and let's see where we can see the next few competition points going, and then we'll wrap up. We will wrap up. So we have match day 23, Parma versus Lecce in what is now a relegation head-to-header. I'm going to go with Parma to get 3 points, though, there. They'll be heartbroken after the Milan game. Lecce will be whooped by us. They won't recover from that properly. Not as much to make up a gap. I think Parma can get some points there, but I might back a draw. That looks like a classic draw waiting to happen, as does Udinese versus Venezia. Venezia will be sort of happy with a point, but they were at home. They wanted to get all 3. Verona won't be happy. There's another relegation head-to-header. We've got some good bottom-of-the-table clashes here. Good chances for teams as well. Good chance for Venezia to get something out of this away trip to Udinese, which they will be happy about because one of Monza or Verona could grab 3 points here. Great chance for Monza at home. Very good chance for Monza at home to get a very important 3 points. They should go for it, man. They should go for it. Verona, on the other hand, look piss poor in every department. I hope they lose. I hope they lose every game from now until the end of the season. Atalanta hosts Torino in a match that I'm going to expect Atalanta to get 3 points. Bologna hosts Como in a match where if you do fancy a sneaky bet, maybe back Como here. Maybe back Cornwall to pull off something here. They looked very motivated against Atalanta when they lost. They had Cesc Fabregas, serial winner, saying things like, "This is why I became a coach." People need to realize who Cesc Fabregas is, which is why I give him my flowers. This guy is a baller. He won everything with one of the greatest national teams you will ever see of all time, España, ranging from that 2008 to that 2012 era, back to back to back national titles, inclusive of World Cups and Euros. They were very bloody good. His move to Barcelona was an arrogant move. He put on the Barcelona shirt while still an Arsenal player celebrating the World Cup. That's a bad thing to do from a bad man, from a bad dude. That's why he went and won everything with Barcelona. Yes, it helps when you get carried by Messi and co, but guess who was part of and co? Guess who was part of and co? He was part of and co. He is a great coach already, and he will continue to be a great coach. Back Como or draw, back a draw, back Como in that match against Bologna. Juventus at home against Empoli, they have something to prove because they finally lost the game. They'll definitely win that game. They might not play well in that game, but they will win. If Empoli can do everybody a favor and take some points from Juve, that would be absolutely ridiculous. Genoa will be coasting off 3 points. They don't usually win back-to-back matches, so expect Fiorentina to grab 3 points there. And then I guess the biggest fixture of the match day comes down to the third Derby della Madonnina of the season. The second one in Serie A, third in total. Milan have 2 wins. Inter have 2 losses. Milan have 2 wins. Inter have 2 losses. Fuck off, Mattia. I'm not even bringing that up on the screen. Look how hard he's doing the anti-jigs for. I'm not bringing that up on the screen, though, but he's doing his thing. He's doing what he needs to do. That kickoff is on a Monday at 4 a.m. for me. I will be sleeping my ass. I will be sleeping my culo. No way am I waking up for this game. My body will probably wake me up for this game. Anyway, we need 3 points big time if we're going to continue this this run that we are on. It's a good run, but it just so happens that the second biggest fixture on the match day is Roma hosting Napoli. And why should I believe that Roma's going to take points from Napoli? Why should I believe that anybody's going to take points from Napoli at this point? To do what they've done in the last couple of weeks, let alone all season, has been impressive, even though they only have 1 game a week. And it doesn't bother me that I have to keep saying that, because we kept saying this at the start of the season. Antonio Conte with 1 game a week is an absolute cheat code. He threw that Coppa Italia. He completely threw it down the drain. He didn't care about it whatsoever. The fact that he had no European football this season is absolutely incredible. Lazio will probably bounce back against Cagliari as well. So, yeah. I mean, this is a good actual comment because I do like him as well. I've only seen him a little bit, but from what I've seen so far, he looks pretty well. We could consider him as a vice Dumfries, and big up for Dumfries for the form that he is in for Inter. That's enough for this match day, to be honest. That is enough. It's going to be a very sticky end to the season. Very sticky end to the season. So many teams have so much going on still, whether it's Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, injuries, off-field incidences that you're dealing with. Everybody has got something that they could complain about, but there's no need to complain. The strong will survive. Anyway, that's it for me. Second bit of content today for Inter Worldwide. Thanks to everybody that were here. Thanks to Mattia up front 9. Thanks to Gabe as well. Thanks to Quizo for coming through. It's been a while since we've seen you, man, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much to Rosemary, Massimo, Kreshnik, and a couple of others as well that I can't scroll up far enough to see. I will see you guys very, very soon. Forza Inter Worldwide. Ciao.